It's National Games and Puzzles Week, but how do games and puzzles connect with occult practices?
Enter a world of enchantment, of enlightenment, Meg's magical mansion.
Come, whoever you are, to Meg's Magical Mansion, a virtual guest house for spiritual wayfarers. A place where the ordinary becomes magical, where wisdom is yours for the asking, and where your higher nature is just a wish away. I'm Parfait, and I'm here with my magical co-star, Meg.
Hey everybody, and of course, as usual, we have our little helper, Miss Alice Poopers, along for the ride.
And today's a very special day because it's actually National Game and Puzzle Week.
Ooh, I love games and puzzles.
Yeah, we do too. We love all sorts of games
we play a lot of games around here.
Oh yeah, all the time. We're always pranking one another, it seems. But I do have a special game for Meg this time.
Oh, wow, thank you, Parfait. This is called Mystical Loteria. Wow, a spiritual celebration of the classic Latin party game. Wow, this says connect with your ancestors, gather your crystals, and light a candle with all the fun of Loteria. So it's a bingo game. I love games. Parfait.
So it's like a fresh take on an old classic Latin game.
That's so fun. Did you know that games, puzzles, and riddles have been around since the dawn of time?
Oh no, I had no idea.
Yeah, like think about the riddle of the Sphinx.
Oh.
All kinds of different ways that people have used and enjoyed games, puzzles, and riddles throughout history to expand their thinking, to solve problems. So why don't we take a quick look before we play the game, and let's dive into the history and the psychology of games, puzzles, and riddles.
Ooh, that sounds exciting. I can't wait to learn more.
National Games and Puzzles Week runs from November 20th to the 26th this year. And it's a celebration of games and puzzles, and here in the United States, where we're celebrating Thanksgiving, it's a great time to get together with friends and family and play some games and have some fun. Because that's the number one reason we play games and puzzles, is to have fun. And our brains love the structures of games and puzzles. It's a great time for companionship, competition, and cooperation. Games and puzzles force us to navigate a series of choices, where each choice is telling us a little bit about who we are and how we think. And games and puzzles really help keep the brain young. You know, when you're playing a game or doing a puzzle, you get to enter a special alternative reality. Game designers actually call it the magic circle. It's a special space where you're allowed to try, you're allowed to fail, you're allowed to succeed. When you're in the magic circle, we all agree to the rules of the game, and while we are playing, the players are cast together in this magic circle. Games have been around since prehistoric times. I mean, they used to play knuckle bones back in the old caveman days, where sheep ankle bones were used in a form of a game somewhat like jacks, where you would balance the bones on the back of your hand, toss them up in the air, and then catch as many as possible on the way down. And of course, one of the oldest games in the world is Go, the Chinese strategy game that's still played today. The origins of chess go back to 6th century India, and then evolved into what we know as chess by the 16th century. And card games like poker, which was developed in 1829 in New Orleans, or whist, which came about in 1760 in France, or blackjack, even older still, from 1700, known as 21. One of the oldest card games is Karnuffel, the German card game, which originated in 1426. And of course, humans have been entranced by puzzles for thousands of years. The Stomachon puzzle is called the world's oldest puzzle, created by the Greek Archimedes. He also calculated the number pi. And it is a puzzle where 14 pieces are set inside of a square. It's a dissection puzzle, and it is very similar to a tangram, which is an ancient Chinese puzzle. And that arrived and became very popular in the West in the early 1800s. And a tangram involves 7 flat polygons that can be arranged to form different pictures and make different shapes. And some of the oldest puzzles were riddles, codes, and brain teasers. You know, from about 2300 BC, we got the labyrinth came into being, and labyrinths and mazes were designed to confuse or even trap participants. Think about like the Minotaur trapped in a labyrinth. And around 200 BC, interlocking puzzles came into being around the world. Now, the classic jigsaw puzzle, as we know it, was invented by John Silsbury, the 18th century British cartographer and map engraver. And he pasted one of his maps onto a piece of wood, and then he cut out the different countries and the different parts of the map into pieces so that students could use this to reassemble it and learn their geography. And of course, in 1698, we see the burr puzzle come into existence. That's an interlocking puzzle made of notched sticks called a puzzle knot, and sometimes called a Chinese puzzle. And in 1974, Erno Rubik gave us the Rubik's Cube. You know, riddles are something we all enjoy and get a kick out of, and they go back to ancient times. Think of the riddle of the Sphinx. You know, the Sphinx had the head of the woman and a body of a lion and guarded the gates to the city of Thebes. And to get into the city, you had to answer the riddle or she's just going to eat you up. And this dated back to the 5th century BC. And she's famous for asking Oedipus the riddle, what has 1 voice but goes on 4 legs in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and 3 in the evening. And the answer, of course, is a human who crawls as a baby, walks as an adult, and uses a stick when they're old. One of the oldest riddles comes from ancient Sumeria. There is a house. One enters it blind and leaves seeing. What is it? It's a school. And of course, one of my personal favorite riddles is Gollum's riddle in The Hobbit. This thing all devours birds, beasts, trees, flowers, gnaws iron, bites steel, grinds hard stone to meal, slays kings, ruins town, and beats mountains down. And who is it? I bet you've read the book or seen the movie. You probably know that one. And in modern times, with computers and modern technology, video gaming systems have become the rule of the day. And gaming is a whole new thing. Role-playing games, you can do online jigsaw puzzles and card games, and most of us today do a lot of our gaming online. So why do people love to play games and do puzzles and answer riddles? Well, there are a lot of benefits to it. You know, puzzles and games, they date back thousands of years. We've been playing them for a reason. We know it's relaxing and fun, but it also improves problem-solving skills, helps you develop logical reasoning. You're looking for patterns, which really helps with that. They can help you develop spatial awareness, increase your attention to detail, improve your short-term memory. And of course, all of this just improves your mood, releasing dopamine into your brain because, as we have said, playing games and doing puzzles is fun. So, whether you play a game of solitaire all by yourself, or whether you get together with your friends and family and enjoy some Dungeons and Dragons, or a game of Monopoly, I hope everyone has a chance this week, National Games and Puzzles Week, to play some games and have some fun.
We're back!
Well, I hope you enjoyed that look at games and puzzles and riddles. Why they're really fun, but also kind of important, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, now it's time to check out this game, the mystical Loteria. You know, this is the Loteria is a classic bingo game in Latin culture, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a really interesting mystical take on what was a classic game.
I love it. So it's going to teach you a lot of different sort of occult and mystical terms and
exactly, phrases, and it's
Okay.
going to like basically give you more instruction on different magical practices.
All right, well, why don't you guys come along with us and let's all go play the mystical Loteria.
Can't wait.
While Parfait and I are playing this game and having a good time, I just wanted to also speak to you about how games and puzzles and riddles are a very important part of witchcraft and occult practice. I believe because for so many, many centuries, witches have had to stay under the radar and undercover for being fear of persecuted and, well, frankly, burned or tortured. And because of that, a lot of times you see spells and incantations written as riddles, rhymes, and poems to disguise the fact that they were actually spells or incantations. And I also think that creating spells and carrying out spells is a form of puzzle work, because you have to figure out what you want to accomplish and how to use the tools you have to affect the energy in such a way to get the desired outcome that you want. And of course, many people in the occult community use divination tools, which sometimes are perceived as games, such as Ouija boards or tarot cards. But for most of us who are using them as actual tools, we know they can be extremely powerful. And for those who include working with the paranormal as part of their occult life, there are a couple of really interesting and kind of scary games that you can play if you want to make contact with the paranormal. One of those is the Three Kings game. And this game involves performing a very precise ceremony at exactly 3:33 a.m. in a very dark room using 2 mirrors and a candle. The instructions are very specific for how the ceremony is to be carried out, and I'll leave a link in the description for those instructions in case you are brave enough to try to play the Three Kings game. And there's another game that can help you shift to another reality, and that game is called Elevator to Another World. And that's a game you have to play in a building that has more than 10 floors and has an elevator. And you must ride in this elevator following a sequence of numbers. First you go to the 4th floor, then to the 2nd floor, then to the 6th floor, back to the 2nd floor. Then you go to the 10th floor, then you go to the 5th floor. When you reach the 5th floor, a young woman might enter the elevator. If she does, don't look at her, don't speak to her. She's not what she seems. Then you press the button for the 1st floor. If the elevator begins ascending to the 10th floor instead of going down to the 1st floor, you know you are shifting realities. If the elevator goes down to the 1st floor, exit as soon as the doors open. Don't look back, don't speak to anyone, and leave the building. If it goes up to the 10th floor, you may stay on the elevator or choose to get off. If you exit the elevator, the woman will ask you, "Where are you going?" Do not answer her, do not look at her. The only person who should be on the 10th floor is you. And it can be tricky to leave. People have had trouble leaving. Sometimes they get back on the elevator and push the button for the 1st floor. If it doesn't work, keep pressing it. And as soon as you finally do exit and get to that 1st floor, do not look back, do not speak, and leave the building. So both of these games have very specific directions. I'm going to leave the links for them. I really want to try the elevator game. It sounds super fun and a little creepy. And I hope that all of you in the paranormal community, in the witchcraft community, have a great time finding games, puzzles, riddles that help you expand your thinking and your magical practice. Those of us who are magicians and witches, we know that shrouding our magic in secrecy is one of the great ways that we are able to protect our magic and ourselves. And using riddles, jokes, tricks, games, and puzzles has been an age-old way for people who have an occult practice to help keep it hidden from those who might be threatened or intimidated by it. So while games seem like fun on the surface level, for some of us in the witchcraft community, they have a much deeper meaning because they have been a way we have been able to protect ourselves and our magic for centuries. I know a lot of people, if they take a good look into their grimoire, will find that many spells and incantations are written as rhymes or riddles. So let us know in the comments, how do you use games, puzzles, riddles, rhymes, tricks in your magical life?
Oh, Mystical Loteria!
Whoa, did you just win?
I did!
Oh, girl, congratulations!
Yay! I just got it!
Yay!
Oh, thank you!
High five!
Yay.
Thank you. I love this
Oh my
game,
God,
Parfait.
that
This
was
was
so
so
much
much fun.
fun.
Thank you so much for this
Well,
game.
thank you for playing it with me. And you know, this is really just such a cool take on what is a traditional game.
I know, it was so much fun to play it together and have a good time.
Yeah.
And you know, that's kind of really the point
Yeah.
of playing games and having fun with your friends and your family. It's about being together, having fun. They get you to think and use your brain a little bit.
Exactly, enjoying time with those you really care about.
You know, it's just been the best. I love playing games with people I love just like you,
Aw, thank you
Parfait.
so much. I love playing games with you too.
And we love having you along for the ride every week as well. And
Absolutely.
don't forget, in the words of Buddha, 1,000 candles can be lit from a single candle, and the life of the candle will not be shortened. Happiness never decreases by being shared. So thank you for sharing your time and attention with us here today at Meg's Magical Mansion. Till next time.
Toodles!